How many of you have created New Year's resolutions? Raise your hands. And from those, now just a month and a half into the year, have continued following them? Clearly, not as many. Well, even I set up a resolution of doing 50 push-ups every day. It's obvious how that turned out. Let's focus on the why behind it for a moment. Can you recall that first day, the day of setting those resolutions? How optimistic and determined you were? New Year's resolutions are like planting seeds of positivity. On that first day, we are infused with hope, motivated by the promise of change, envisioning a better version of ourselves already. However, as time unfolds, we often find maintaining that initial burst of positivity becomes a daunting task. The adrenaline and euphoria might last a day or two, but it is not what is going to make it a long-term habit. I call this the fleeting optimism. The idea is, life's not always sunshine and roses. When we decide on a goal with a solely positive outlook, we wear rose-tinted glasses, filtering out the challenges and complexities of reality. Envisioning such a positive outcome is like neglecting the fact that even roses have thorns. This diminishes a person's motivation to take action as individuals start to believe that success might come without any efforts. It is therefore essential for us to maintain a balance between optimism and realism to ensure that optimism doesn't devolve into delusion. A study conducted by Gabriel Oettinger and Doris Mayer, published in the Journal of the Experimental Social Psychology, unveiled the positive thinking paradox. The idea is, positivity can help you climb a mountain, but carefree climbing might cause you to tumble down. Now, things might sound quite confusing, right? Weren't we told to always stay positive? Weren't we told to look at the bright side of life? Well, here's it. The tendency to oversimplify complex emotions by simply urging ourselves to put on a smile and move on fails to acknowledge our genuine struggles. Ever been told to put on a smile during tough times? That is toxic positivity. Toxic positivity can induce feelings of guilt and shame within individuals for simply experiencing ordinary human emotions such as anger, frustration, or even sadness. This may lead to suppression of emotions, allowing them to accumulate and potentially contribute to severe mental health conditions. When we force such a positive ideal on ourselves, it is like telling a person in grief to simply forget out everything, put on a smile and move on. This might sound right, but it undermines the necessary grieving process. It's like piloting a boat. Storms will come, but that doesn't mean that we simply ignore them and focus on the peaceful sailing part, does it? Now, let's transition a bit. Out of the ones that created the New Year's resolutions, during that time, how many of you were damn sure about following it? Raise your hands. See, that's it. We magically expect the person on the 1st of Jan to be a better version of ourselves. It's like envisioning an ideal self that embodies perfection in all our aspirations. It's like the cat in this image, thinking of itself as the lion. Now, that part is not wrong, but overestimating its capabilities will do it no good. We wrongly associate the person on the 1st of Jan to be a better version of ourselves. Change doesn't need blind faith. It doesn't happen overnight. It needs time, it needs dedication, it needs efforts. And more importantly, change needs action. Let's look at it this way. How many of you here are confident enough in coming up and giving a speech about something you're passionate? Thought so. Now, let's ponder upon what made you take that decision. Was it because you were confident enough and were like, we'll see what happens, I'll get through it vibes? Or was it simply because you were afraid? That's where we draw the first line. Before we create imaginary goals or ideal scenarios, we need to understand ourselves. We need to understand our capabilities. We need to understand why we think what we think. Let's do one thing today. Let's go back home and self-reflect on our day. Or even better, let's go back home and self-reflect on our life's most crucial decisions. This introspection will serve as the foundation upon which we can build our aspirations. Just as a solid foundation is crucial for a stable structure, understanding our motivations and fears lays groundwork for authentic and realistic goals. It's like learning the rules of a new game before playing it, understanding a new software before installing it. It's not about glossing over insecurities or uncertainties, but confronting them head on, acknowledging their existence, and then transcending them. Self-reflection is the cornerstone of personal growth, and as we enrich it, we empower ourselves to navigate through life's challenges and complexities. There is a famous technique known as the best, worst, most likely approach. This technique encourages us to look at life in various different perspectives without the distortion of rose-tinted glasses. It fosters a realistic mindset. For instance, instead of starting with 50 push-ups, setting a target of 10 push-ups and then gradually increasing to 20 sounds more realistic. It fosters gradual progression and increases the likelihood of sustained commitment. You might have heard it from gym freaks. The secret to success in the gym is consistency, consistency, consistency. It's the same for life. Acknowledging the challenges and complexities of life is crucial to not void ourselves into the traps of toxic positivity. Here's where most of us go wrong. We set up our goals so high that when we fail to achieve them, we often end up feeling miserable and are disappointed within ourselves. Understand one thing, optimism is required, but fleeting optimism will lead to nothing but sadness and disappointment. So, let's embrace a balanced perspective on life, one that maintains an equilibrium between optimism and realism. Let's discard the illusion of toxic positivity and understand that the path to authentic growth is a journey navigated by positivity, realism, and self-reflection. Before I leave this stage, I'd like to say one last thing. Positivity without authenticity is just a facade. Thank you.